What's up, guys? Working on this 2004 Tacoma with the V6 supercharged. Customer sent it in, had a little trouble finding a tuner. This is on AEM FIC6, which is a piggyback system, which is not the most ideal system, and the reason these are out there is kind of as a stopgap for cars that don't have a good tuning solution that works with a stock ECU or a plug-and-play system with a standalone, something like that. So that's why you see these piggyback systems exist. They also came out in the early 2000s when OBD2 first switched over. So this was AEM's solution. At the time, it was a cutting edge. So nowadays, I think it gets the job done. So that being said, I want to show you guys how I set this up because I didn't find a lot of information online. For this specific application with the 2004 Tacoma, a lot of stuff with the pre-02s and some 4Runners in the same model year, but not as much on the 04 Tacoma. So hopefully this helps someone out there. I'm gonna pull up my file here I made, show you guys what I got going here. So in the setup here, we've got an acceleration. You can actually use this as a tip-in modifier. Didn't have to end up using that on this, but I believe that's what that's for, like a tip-in. Ignition map. So there's all these tables here, or all these little sections here on the setup, and each one's referencing the 6 maps we can modify up here. So we have an ignition modifier map, fuel map load modifier. This is the MAF sensor load modifier. O2 map modifier, and then we have an A and a B input for the ECU. I'm not going to get into A and B in this video, but back to setup here. So you can see the ignition is, these are the settings for the ignition table, so we can, what our load input is, if it's MAF or a map. These vehicles don't have a map sensor, so you want to make sure all these are set to MAF. The MAF we have set to MAF. Analog A and B we're not using. And then O2 load input we're using the map as well. And then this is where I think I'll be able to help people out there. So what you're gonna do is these vehicles, these 03, 04s are OBD2, so they use a wideband O2 sensor, not a narrowband. So what you wanna do is you're gonna set this mode here, you're gonna set it to voltage, and you're gonna uncheck view as AFR, and you're gonna make sure to check high level drive. And you're gonna leave your bank low 0 to 5. That's fine. Now, what this gonna let you do is using a logger. The customer actually had an old school logger on here, so I don't have the vehicle on right now, so that's not good. But your basic logger, you can use that to monitor your trims, and also you'll need a wideband. This customer's got an old school innovative in here, so I went with that. If not, you can use like an AEM Wago. So anyways, not to dive too deep in how to tune vehicles, but just some basics there. You'll want a wideband to compare your results. But what we can do is we can set this to voltage, and then we can go in here to our O2 modifier after we have the vehicle warmed up. There's air fuels in here now, so don't worry about that. But I guess I have this saved, so anyways, I can mess with this here. So what you'll go in and do is set this whole table to, actually wouldn't set it to 0. I'd start with like a value of 0.25, okay? We'll set that in there, and we're voltage. If you look here at the top, voltage, and then that's, actually I messed this up, so let me try that again. 0.25 volts, and it's give me half. I'm hitting the wrong keys or something here, trying to video. I think that's, actually, you know what this is? I think we stumbled across something here in my setup. It's kind of interesting. It won't let me target below a certain, okay, so it's maxing me out there. But anyways, you can set these to a low number like 0.47. And then what you're gonna do, bring the vehicle up 2,000 RPM, and we can, using the wideband, the aftermarket wideband, we can see the actual air fuel ratio. And then what we can do is we can write that down. I think I brought my notebook inside, but you can write that down and compare 0.47 volts is equal to this air fuel and we'll go through that. So 0.47, 0.75, we'll do the same thing, 2000 RPM, what was the air fuel. And what we'll tend to notice is, as we go higher with the values, we'll notice that the air fuel mixture leans out. So we can use that data and interpolate it into this function here, use AFR, and you can see I've got my values here, and we can type the comparison values. So at 0.5 in my testing, I saw 12.43 air fuel ratio. So by filling all of these values out, then after we go in and then we say check this box, view as air fuel ratio, then we go back in here. I'm going to reopen this file. And when you go back in to the O2 modifier, of course it's going to show that it's still messed up. So I guess it's not good. Looks like it over. Hang on. Thing here. I'm gonna cut to. All right. I'm actually gonna. Looks like I corrupted my file here. So what I'm gonna do is pull it from the FIC to show you guys here. So I just pulled the file out of the FIC. So after you've got that data in, and you go back in here, what you'll be able to do is then program what air fuel you desire. So this makes the tuning a lot easier, in my opinion. So as you can see here, on the bottom here, I'm targeting 14.7, and as I get up here and Supercharger starts making boost, I start to enrichen these air fuels. And you can see these are, I'm running a 12.5 air fuel. Typically you would, think of something, on the higher boost levels like an 11.8. This vehicle didn't like running in the 11s, it was choking a little bit, so we're running low 12s, and I feel plenty safe with this application that it's going to be a nice safe tune for the customer. So that's what we ended up going with here, low 12s air fuels. And I actually did notice too, it tends to, the trims tend to be adding here if anything, so it really comes out to a very low 12, almost an 11, if sometimes 11. So yeah, this is what I have here. I'll show you my ignition maps. I'm pulling just a few degrees of timing, mostly here in the low load sections, 4 degrees here. Being that it is Supercharger, it's going to be able to make the boost very low RPM. So this is where we really need to pull it. I pulled 2 degrees across the top when we're in the higher RPMs. Not as important to pull that timing there, but we did pull 2 degrees. And then we've got around 3 degrees in this section, 2 degrees, and kind of tapering that in so it's nice and even. The fuel of this vehicle is running 310cc injectors, so if you do an injector calibration, you can actually right click in here and do a size change. When I did that, it gave me like a value of negative 22 in these cells, and again, just with this application, the vehicle wanted these particular values in here. Interesting enough, I didn't have to really play with the trims too much. The vehicle doesn't seem to respond to the trimming, I guess, just because of the way I'm manipulating it with the O2 here. So I'm going to do some more test runs to validate a lot of this stuff, but the main thing I wanted to show in this video is just how I have the basic setups here, and how I set up the air fuel. And because if you don't have this part set up, the vehicle is not going to let you reach these air fuel ratios. It just simply won't. You can punch in all the values you want, positive values, because this is a modifier table, so you can add positive values, and you will not see the rich air fuel that you're looking for. So something to keep in mind there. Yeah, MAF I didn't mess with because it's a stock MAF, so the air volume has not changed that we're sucking through that MAF, so no reason to change that there. And really just changing the air fuels. So hope this helps some of you Toyota guys out there. Oh, one thing I want to show you in setup here, calibration. Make sure to go through and do your TPS here, and you'll see that if you're in gauges, you want to make sure that TPS is showing 0 there. If you don't have that calibrated, you're going to show like 25% throttle constantly. It's going to make your starts and everything a little weird. You can also calibrate the RPM. So make sure you do those 2 calibrations. And let's see if we can start good on here. This vehicle's been sitting for years, is my guess, and the battery also has some load on it. When the key's off, you can see this radio is still running, so battery's not doing so hot, so struggles with the start. That is why, but it usually starts pretty good now. She goes. She's pretty quiet, so I barely hear it, that's why. Usually about 10 seconds delay till it can kick into the way we skew it. So startup's not the best, but this piggybacks, it's a little bit of a battle. As you can see there, we are up and running. If we give this just a sec, we should see our target air fuel at 14.7. Being that this is a piggyback, we really don't have access to all the tables, so this isn't the ideal tuning solution, but like I said, it is something that will get her done. So I hope this helps. As you can see, chilling right at our target there. And if we go into O2,